In the world of hot hatches, letters matter. GT, R, GTI, RS, and now you can add one more to that list. N.
N is the new performance division from Hyundai, and this, the i30N, is the firm's first effort. The man behind the i30N was previously responsible for the BMW M3. His hand is evident here, where the standard and rather lifeless Hyundai i30 has been transformed into one of the most entertaining hot hatches you can currently buy. The styling has been overhauled too, discreetly, with a tasteful spoiler, bigger bumpers and an 8mm drop in ride height. Go for this performance blue paintwork that matches the Hyundai i20N rally car and is anything but discreet though.
On the inside, you get the same type of interior quality you get on the normal i30. So there's lots of soft touch plastics and everything seems really well put together. On the N, however, you get these big sport seats and this fat steering wheel with light blue little buttons. One is a drive mode switch and the other is the N mode. More of that a little bit later. And because it's based on the i30, there's lots of storage. So there's a couple of cup holders down here. The door bins pass the Carbuyer big bottle test. The glove box is of a very good size and it's ventilated as well. And on this car we've also got a wireless charging pad as well for your phone. The one thing I would say in here though, it is ditch water dull in here. It's just a relentless vista of black plastic. There's no interesting or racy design details whatsoever, and it's in sharp contrast to the exterior of this car.
There's no shortage of equipment fitted as standard though. You'll find an 8-inch touchscreen with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity, sat-nav, LED headlights, a reversing camera, cruise control, wireless phone charging, 18-inch alloys, a lap counter, torque vectoring and a rev matching function. Go for the performance version and Hyundai fits larger 19-inch wheels, an electric driver's seat and an active exhaust.
Like an increasing number of hatchbacks these days, the i30 only comes as a 5-door. And whilst that means the looks suffer a little bit, it's great for families. And the i30 isn't too bad back here. I mean, if I sit upright or get comfortable, I've got a decent amount of knee room, although it must be said I do tend to sit quite close to the steering wheel, so if you've got a 6-foot driver and a 6-foot passenger, you're probably going to struggle a little bit for knee room. And headroom isn't the best, I have to say. You can fit 3 adults back here just thanks to a flat floor. It means that the person sitting in the middle can get quite comfortable, although they are going to be squabbling for shoulder room, it must be said. Practical touches, well, the door bins are fairly large. There's some nets on the back of the seats and an armrest with a couple of cup holders. Like I say, generally speaking, space back here is okay. But if you want more of it, you're going to have to look at something like a Skoda Octavia VRS. Round to the back and you get quite a large boot actually. Unsurprisingly, it's the same size as you get in the normal i30, so it fits in between a VW Golf, in this case the GTI, and a Honda Civic, in this case the Type R. And there are a few nice little touches in here actually. Under the boot floor there's a space-saver spare wheel, there's a little shopping hook there and a 12-volt socket, and there is a lot of space here. I mean, if I load in the Carbuyer suitcases, that's the large one, that's the medium-sized one, and the little small one, you can see, look, there's still a lot of space left over. One thing that is worth noting, however, if you do go for the performance pack version of the i30N, you get a strengthening beam. Look, it's right there, and it makes the car nice and rigid. The downside to that is if you want to load items all the way through, let me fold down the 60/40 folding rear seats, it means that that is right in the way. However, if you are a little bit handy with a screwdriver, you can of course remove it, which is quite a nice touch.
While the i30N might lose a game of top trumps to the likes of the Seat Leon Cupra and the Ford Focus RS, its 247 bhp, or 271 if you choose the N Performance Pack, means it's no slouch. The 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine delivers just enough power to make best use of the tweaked chassis, and it's mated to a really slick and precise 6-speed manual gearbox.
It really is a huge amount of fun, is this car, especially the ones with the performance pack, because they come with a limited slip differential that really helps to claw the car out of corners. Now, the rev button isn't a direct link to your Vicar, it's a rev matching function. So if you're the kind of person who can't do heel and toe gear changes, this will do it for you, so it'll blip the throttle on down changes. There's also two other buttons, they're both light blue in colour, and the one on the left is for the drive mode, so you can choose between normal, sport and eco, but the one on the right is the N button. Press it and everything stiffens up, and the exhaust also gets louder. Listen to this. Oh! Did you hear that? The pops and crackles? Pops and crackles from a Hyundai, for heaven's sake. Whatever next? But you can switch everything off and go back into normal mode, and then the i30N becomes as quiet and as serene, almost, as the normal i30. But it's a little bit boring like that, so I'm going to put it back into N mode. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Bang, 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 bang. Love it. I love this. Bang, 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 bang. Pop, 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 pop. Crackle, crackle, crackle.
The i30N also has a launch control system, which will get models with the performance pack to 62 miles an hour in 6.1 seconds. The i30N should be a really easy car to live with too. Hyundai reckons on around 40 mpg, although we average 31. It costs £25,000, although we'd spend the extra £3,000 on the N performance pack, and it comes with Hyundai's 5-year warranty.
However, while it's fantastic that Hyundai has thrown everything up to and almost including the kitchen sink at the i30N, the levels of geekiness of this car almost drive me mad. Now, going back to those driving modes. Now, you've got normal, sport and eco. Now, I can understand the normal and sport, but eco, why do I want eco in a car like this? It makes no sense whatsoever. Then there's the N mode, which is fantastic because it stiffens everything up, but it also stiffens up the suspension to a, frankly, unbearable level of stiffness. Honestly, you could not live with this on a day-to-day basis. I've just gone into N mode now, and I don't know if you can see this, but I'm being shaken around like Billy-O. All of my internal organs are jiggling around. You could not live with this on a day-to-day basis, especially on the typical British B road. There's also a fifth mode, custom. Now, it brings up this screen here and it gives me lots and lots of information, like I've got a performance timer and it's telling me how much G I'm doing at the moment and how much torque and how much power the engine is developing. It's all very, very geeky. But when I tell you there are 1,944 different configuration settings here, I can set this car up to nearly 2,000 different ways. What type of person just sits here and is tweaking their ESC and their electronic limited slip differential? There's too much choice. Just give me a Golf GTI and be done with it.
The only good thing about being able to tweak all the different settings is that you can tone down the ride and the heavy steering while still having the engine and exhaust in ballistic mode. And that steering does feel quite artificial, making the N feel less sharp than a Honda Civic Type R. The N is also quite heavy too. It's 49 kilograms heavier than the Type R and a whopping 160 kilograms more than the identically powered Peugeot 308 GTI. Those are really the only bad things about the i30N because, overall, it's highly impressive and easily holds its own in the hot hatch class. As a first effort, Hyundai has done a stunning job. If you're in the market for a well-rounded hot hatch, check out our VW Golf GTI review or a hot hatch playlist. Click the logo to subscribe to our channel and don't forget the links below the video to follow us on social media.